Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing really well. So today I'll be reviewing a fragrance from the house of Jean Paul Gaultier, and it's going to be Le Male, the original one. So let's get started. So let's start off with the presentation. It comes in a tin can sort of like a presentation, and it's mostly like you could say a podium based sort of presentation, as you guys can see, right? So it kind of locks it like in this way, and you have to open it by turning the cap and just open the lid of the presentation. So this type of presentation, mainly this podium sort of based presentation, I'm not a huge fan of them, because whenever you tend to open it, there's a huge possibility that probably you might knock off the bottle from the podium and it might drop to the floor, right? The bottle, so there's a chance of breaking the glass. So I mean, it's kind of a letdown in terms of practicality, but if I have to say in terms of the design, I think it's kind of what makes Jean Paul Gaultier a bit like stand alone in terms of the presentation, because how they are their presentation comes in, right? So normally with other designer houses like Chanel, Armani, you kind of see like a box, a normal cardboard cutout box, and it just has the fragrances in them, but it's a bit different. It's okay. Now coming to the bottle itself, the bottle it basically resembles like a guy's torso with the no pants. So as you guys can see, it doesn't have any pant from the front or from the back, so it's kind of I don't know, a bit kinky sort of a way. And as you guys can see, like the whole thing resembles like a bodybuilder sort of stuff. And it does have a stopper on the cap. The stopper is it's very, let's say, sort of cheap in a way, but it's okay. At least it gets the job done in terms of preventing accidental sprays. And then at the back you got Gaultier written almost at the, what you call it, the neck area of the torso, and there is a slight information engraved on the bottom. So yeah, that's mostly it, and that's the stopper, as you guys can see. Now let's see how the sprayer works. And it's an like open sprayer, like it doesn't have any cap to it, as with all Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male line, and even the Lobo line, same sort of like design. So so let's get to the sprayer. So as you guys can see, the sprayer is really good, in terms of like it's not pressurized, but it has some energetic bursts to it. Like it shoots well. Now coming to the fragrance itself, first of all, I'm just gonna mention one thing, that if you like barbershoppy fragrances, you're going to like this, right? So, and if you don't like barbershop fragrances, if you like, let's say, sweet sort of fragrances, I don't think you're gonna be appreciated by this, right? And obviously this was released back in 1995, so it has almost been 30 years. So 3 decades ago this was actually released. So I mean, it won't definitely appeal to the younger crowds. It will definitely appeal to the ones that have lived through the 2010s, even the 2000s. I think they will know how the meaning of this one, and how this actually is, and what this represents, right? This was the clubbing scene back in those days, just like how 1 million was back in 2010s. This was basically the club banger back in the late 1990s and early 2000s, before 1 million kind of like took this place, and it got reformulated and whatnot. So yeah, obviously gonna talk about the performance, reformulation, and all that. Now coming to yeah, as I just mentioned, now coming to the fragrance, if you like I just mentioned, if you like barbershop Fougere type fragrances, you're gonna like it. Otherwise, if you like sweet sort of fragrances, you're not gonna like it. Now, if I have to describe the fragrance for you, it first opens up with a huge dose of lavender, a slight bit of cardamom, and it has a green note, Artemisia. It like if I have to like say from my personal opinion, I specifically don't like the Artemisia that has been used in this one. Obviously, I get bits of cardamom in the opening too, but the Artemisia in this one, it gives like a sort of like a green, sort of like a herbal, sort of like a bitterish feel to it, which I don't like at the opening. But if I have to take the Artemisia out, I like it. I like it a lot. So the opening, that, as I just mentioned, the green sort of like slight bitterish kind of note of Artemisia, it actually kind of lingers around for like 10 minutes, I would say 10 to 11 minutes at best, and then it kind of fades away, and then it goes to the stages which I usually enjoy. So first of all, as I just mentioned, right from the get-go, you're gonna get huge dose of lavender. Lavender is the main, you could say, the component of this fragrance. This is a lavender bomb. No, I mean, I wouldn't say bomb, but it's a lavender prominent fragrance because it doesn't have that much push and projection, if I have to say bomb in a way. But yeah, as I just mentioned, that this is very lavender prominent. Along with that lavender, you're gonna get some cardamom, slight bits and hints of bergamot, and Artemisia. So bergamot doesn't last that long, probably 30 seconds at best, and then it kind of goes away. The Artemisia, it kind of hangs around for that 10 odd minutes, which is, in my opinion, it's kind of off-putting in a way for me, because I'm usually not a fan of green bitter fragrances. I'm not a fan of those fragrances. But anyways, but after the 10 minutes, when the Artemisia is gone, the bergamot has already gone off, right? So you're left with lavender, and slight hints and bits of cardamom, and it basically gets attached with some sweet elements like tonka bean, slight bit of vanilla, and slight bit of, you could say, spiciness to it. Slight spiciness, like the spiciness mainly comes from the cardamom, and the lavender and the tonka bean actually gives like this fragrance the powdery feel. The powderiness doesn't resemble like an iris, no. The iris is more like you could say a buttery powdery. This is more like you could say talcum powdery, right? If you're able to relate, this is more like talcum powdery, kind of that powderiness, right? So and obviously when it gets to the very dry down, the lavender still stays. The lavender is the main, you could say, the main spotlight of this fragrance. The cardamom kind of goes away when it touches the mid, and you are basically left with lavender, tonka bean, vanilla, and a bit of amber to it. That's about it. And the amberiness over here, it's not very warm, because how the lavender is actually like done over here. The lavender and tonka bean actually overshadows the amber. So it is basically, you could say, a powdery and sort of sweet sort of fragrance. And the fragrance, the lavender over here kind of smells like if you take a burnt matchstick, or let's say if you take a matchstick, right? You light it on fire, and then you just blow it, and after the fire goes off, there is a slight hint of like wood burning, sort of like a smell. The lavender over here exactly smells like this. I mean, I'm not saying it smells like incensey, but yeah, it's sort of like incensey, but more onto that sort of like a burning, sort of like slight bit of burning wood, sort of like a smell, because lavender flower actually smells like a matchstick after you have burnt it. So it does have that sort of resemblance to it. So yeah, and it's definitely super powdery. So if you like these sort of powdery sort of fragrances, or you could say aromatic barbershoppy type fragrances, you can definitely have a look at this one. And obviously the price of this has come down a lot in recent times. Now coming to the performance side of things. Now, if I have to talk about the performance side of things, it got its first major reformulation in 2009, after, you could say, almost 14 to 15 years in production. If I have to talk about this specific batch, I think it's a 2021 batch. So I can talk about this, and obviously I did try the older formulations as well. The older formulations did last a lot. Yeah, they were like bomb, trust me. Like, they projected like crazy, and they kind of, stayed on clothes almost till the next day. I mean, till the next day you're gonna be getting strong whiffs, the older batches. But coming to this batch, 2021 batch, even though it has almost been 4 years of this batch, but still, I mean, you could see the reformulation is almost very heavy when it comes to this one. Like, in terms of projection, 1 hour 10 minutes. It's very soft projection, very soft projection. And it, maintains almost after 1 hour 10 minutes. It kind of, maintains a bubble up till this range. This range, it will maintain a bubble. That's about it. And on clothes, I got about only 7 hours on clothes. On skin, it might vary from person to person, but on clothes, I went with eight dot sprays, like 2 over here, 2 over here, and 2 right at the, just at the bottom. Two over here, and 2, like, in total 8 sprays. So, like, on one spot I sprayed like 2 times. If I have to show you, let me just show you. On one spot I just sprayed like this, 1 2, that's about it. On another one, 1 2, like this. So I went with other 2 spots, so it was about 8 sprays, and it got me only about 7 hours. So in terms of, okay, yeah, the opening is nice, as I was just mentioning. Apart from that green Artemisia note, which I don't like. It's having that green Artemisia note. But anyways, after 10 odd minutes, I'll like it. I like it very much. But however, as I was just mentioning, performance 7 hours on my clothes. Kind of sort of disappointed, but you also have to keep in mind that this is a 30-year-old fragrance, right? And if I have to talk about vintage fragrances, especially from designer houses like this one, Le Male, or David of Cool Water, the Eau de Toilette version. David of Cool Water Eau de Toilette version doesn't even last like 4 hours on clothes. So at least this is giving 7. I mean, technically this is more, but I wish the performance, just the projection, would have been a bit better, in my opinion. If the projection was a bit better, I would have been like, okay, this is still worth it. But nowadays, if you look at the current market trends, the taste, like, from this sort of fragrances have already moved on. But however, if you have like some sentimental aspects related to this fragrance, you can still buy it, you can still look into it. And is it a thing that I would recommend you to have in your collection? I think 50-50. The reason is, if you like fragrance that performs, or if you want a fragrance that has to perform well on you, I think you can like skip this. Don't even worry about this. But if you like if you like to get a Jean Paul Gaultier at a cheap price, or you want to have like the taste of the original Le Male, I think you can still look into this one. I think honestly it won't burn your pocket that much, and this is a fragrance that you can actually wear to, let's say, like, you can actually wear before going to bed, or if you want to go here and there, let's say for 1 or 2 hours, or let's say if you have a work outside for, let's say, 1 to 2 hours, and you don't want to wear something really loud, or you don't want to wear something that's that's gonna like stay for like 2 to 3 days, because that's gonna be a waste, right? So you can actually look into this one. And also, if you don't want loud sort of fragrances, if you don't want, I think you can also look into this one. And if you also like lavender, powdery notes and stuff like that, this is the original gangster, to be honest, to begin with. Now this was about the performance and the versatility as well, on when to wear. If you think if you want to wear it to the office, yes, sure, you can wear it to the office, to the gym. Not really sure. On dates, Dates, maybe, I'm not exactly sure, maybe, but I mean, just if your lady likes it, if your lady likes lavender powdery scents, okay, wear it. If not, skip it. Movie nights, yeah, you could, but obviously, you have to use it in winter nights to get at least 7 hours from clothes, like how I got actually. But apart from this, if you use it in summer nights, you're not gonna get performance at all. You're not gonna get that projection at all. So yeah, that was it for from actually this one from the Le Male fragrance. I mean, is it now? If I'm gonna say, is it unique? If I have to say on in terms of the present day, 2025, technically it's unique. Technically it's unique. Why it's unique? Because when it was during the late 1990s or the early 2000s, this was really popular, and nowadays most of the people don't even use it at all, right? So if you think in that way, this is a unique scent profile now, nowadays. But still, uh, is it outdated? I think it's subjective. In my opinion, is it outdated? No. It still holds some relevancy to this day because this barbershop designer style like lavender has shaped fragrances like Armani Code. Yep, the Code line. Even the what do you call it? Some of the Zerjoffs that we see today, inspired by this one. Even the Le Male, the whole line, Le Male Elixir, the Le Male Le Parfum, from this. This has inspired a lot of fragrances, and even like that sport one, Prada Sport, Rosa Sport, Prada Luna Rosa Sport. Yep, there you go. This is that fragrance was also inspired by this one. So this is definitely the granddaddy of those fragrance. So yeah, there goes that. In terms of performance, yeah, it could have been better. But yeah, 30 years still on the market, definitely gonna get reformulated multiple times, and yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, this was it from my end. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. So till then, I'll see you on the next one then. Bye bye guys. Take care.